All right, it says I'm live. It says you are live. Okay. Am I live? Am I live? Okay, there you go. All right, turn that down. Okay. Dang. All right. So let's see. Can I share my screen? Let's see here. Not really sure how to do this. It says share. Okay, share video file, share screen. Oh, here we go. Okay. Share screen. Easiest two monitors. Get a computer. Da, 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 da. Some screen shares let you share audio. Look for share audio checkbox on the window next. Blah blah blah. All right, there you go. Okay, now, all right, here we go. All right, let's read the law. Deuteronomy 6:1. I like the book of Deuteronomy. I think it's a good place to start to read the law. Happy Sabbath for everybody who's observing the Sabbath today. And let's read a little bit of this law. I'm going to start Deuteronomy 6. I think it's a good place to start because it seems like that's when you start getting into the law. But without further ado, here we go. All right. It says Deuteronomy 6:1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it, that thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's sons, all the days of thy life, that thy days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Lord God of thy fathers hath promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Okay, there you go. There's the statement. Just it's describing who the Lord is, right? And when you see the Lord in all caps like that, capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D, this is what it's called. It's the Tetragrammaton. So basically, it's the unpronounced, except with the vowel pointings, right? The proper name of the one true God. All right, so this is how it's translated into Jehovah in some of the translations of the Bible. But this is how typically Israelites, they'll say Yahweh or Yahweh. But yeah, that's when they say that they're referring to the Tetragrammaton. So every time you see that Lord in all caps, that's what they're saying. So it says, let's see. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. So yeah, we need to have, as a people of Yahweh, we have to have God in our mind all the time, and to talk about him, with other people that believe as well, and to discuss him and to discuss his law and the things that he's revealed to his people. And thou shalt bind them for a sign. Okay, so he's talking about the commandments, right? And these words which I command thee this day, right? And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. Okay, so there's these items of worship that people use. They'll tie like a leather strap around their arm, and they'll have I forget what they call them, but it's like a little box, and they have like commandments there, and they'll tie that around their head because they're taking a literal interpretation of what's being written here. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying anything like that. I mean, if you feel so inclined to do that, uh, you know, that's if that's what's in your heart, and then you got to stay true to what and do those things which you feel that you're interpreting correctly. But nevertheless, it says, "And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes." But for me, what this is saying is that those laws that we are to bind them for a sign upon our hand means those are the things that we need to do, right? Because you take action with your hand. You work with your hands, right? You swing a hammer with your hand. You use a drill with your hand. Like if you're in construction, you take measurements with your hand, and you build things with your hand, right? And they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. So meaning, again, the law is going to be something that you meditate on, that you're thinking about. It's constantly on your mind. And you're constantly thinking about it, right? And you think with your brain, and it's they shall be as frontlets. It's on the forefront of your mind. Okay. "And thou shalt write them on the posts of thy house and on thy gates." So it's another commandment where, this commandment reminds me of like the Los Lunas Decalogue stone. So these were commandments that were written on a stone, and this could have been maybe on the borders of maybe their territory, or it could have been a sacred spot for them, or some type of demarcation stone. But they also used it to write the commandments on there because it's written here. "Thou shalt write them on the posts of thy house, upon thy gates," right? The gates to the city. But also to your house too. And another point is to you think about like Yahweh. He talks about himself as being the door, right? So if you're writing on the post of your house, then what's right on the post of your house? The door. So you could take that kind of as a deeper meaning, and think about these type of things, and know that the law is something that the door is hinged upon, right? You could say that Yahweh, he followed the letter to the law. He followed God's example, or God's commandment as an example to the rest of Israel and how we should live our life. Some would even say an embodiment of the law. And I would agree with that too, because he is also called the Word. Let's see. "And it shall be, when the Lord thy God shall have brought thee into the land which he sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities, which thou buildest not, and houses full of all good things, which thou fillest not, and wells digged, which thou diggest not, vineyards, olive trees, which thou plantest not. When thou shalt have eaten and be full, then beware lest thou forget the Lord, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. Ye shall not go after other gods, of the gods of the people which are around about you. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord be kindled, of thy God be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. Ye shall not tempt the Lord your God as ye tempted him in Massa." So if we look up that word Massa here, it says temptation. So it says the place in the wilderness where the Israelites tested Yahweh, also Meribah. Okay, and if we scroll down here, the Exodus, place of Massa and Meribah, because of the children of Israel Okay, yeah. So if we go down here, then we can see the reference on what exactly which event that they're talking about. And he says, it says, and the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched in Rephidim. And there was no water for the people to drink. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses, and said, Give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, Why chide ye with me? Wherefore do ye tempt the Lord? And the people thirsted there for water. And the people murmured against Moses, and said, Wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt, to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, What shall I do unto all this people that be almost ready to stone me? So here we go. We have people who God had just saved. They saw his glory. They saw the 10 plagues executed on Egypt. They saw the Red Sea parted, right? And they were afraid for their lives because the only thing separating the people of Israel and the Egyptian army was this wall of darkness, which was Yahweh. And so he led the people, children of Israel, through the parted waters of the Red Sea, right? And by the way, God was guiding them, a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, right? You had all these miracles happen. Then they were saved through the midst of the Red Sea after they had passed, and that Pharaoh's army was in the midst of the parted Red Sea. Then Moses, waved his staff, and then the waters collapsed and killing the army of Pharaoh, right? They had seen all these terrific and great miracles. I mean, just stuff you wouldn't be able to believe with your own two eyes if you saw it today. They had seen all this stuff with their own eyes, and yet they're still doubting. And they're still saying, oh my God, even after God saved us out of all of our trouble, by all these by the hand of Moses, by all these great miracles, with a cloud with a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Even though we've seen all these great, tremendous miracles that nobody could ever believe to even see one of them, these people still didn't believe, even though they had seen all these things with their own eyes. Right. And then Moses said, what am I going to do with these people? And the Lord said unto Moses, Go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel on thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river, in thine hand, and go. Okay. And this is right. So this is where he cleaved the rock in two and gave them water to drink. But yeah, so, and then Moses, he didn't sanctify Yahweh before the people. And so that was a temptation in Massa or Meribah. So it's safe to assume that Massa would be synonymous with temptation, right? With that word temptation, and that's what it is. It's synonymous with temptation. Okay, and it says, "Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies and his statutes, which he hath commanded thee. And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest go in and possess the good land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to cast out all thine enemies from before thee, as the Lord hath spoken. And when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, What mean the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which the Lord our God hath commanded you? When thou shalt say unto thy son, We are Pharaoh's bondsmen in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And the Lord showed us signs and wonders, great and sore, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh and upon all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in, to give us the land which he sware unto our fathers. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us. All right. So it says, it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us. So if we can do, we can be righteous if we do the commandments, as it says here in the last line of Deuteronomy 6. But let's take a look at that word righteousness. Okay. Tzedakah, justice, righteousness. Okay. Subjectively, objectively, morally, virtue, figuratively, justice, moderately, righteous. Okay. So yeah, justice and judgment. So yeah, it'd be your righteousness and your justice. I think that's pretty self-explanatory there. Let's go to Deuteronomy 7. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are on the face of the earth. Okay, so this is basically saying here that he's giving you the reason why he wants to keep Israel separate. He wants to keep Israel separate from all these other nations, not even these 7 listed nations here in Deuteronomy 7:1, because these people are being cast out of their lands. These people are the people being kicked out, and the Israelites are going to take their place. So Yahweh is basically giving them a list and saying, hey, don't take up after these people's religion, because they're worshiping idols. They're doing wickedness. And so he doesn't want any type of covenant with them. He doesn't want marriages happening with them, because he doesn't want their religion to pollute the law of Yahweh, right? He doesn't want the religion of the Canaanites, right? And these 7 listed people here to pollute that pure law that he's delivering to them. He wants to keep that separate. So this is his commandment, to keep his law pure, to keep his people pure. Let's see. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are on the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt. Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. Okay, here you and Deuteronomy 7 and 9 and 7:10 basically show you that, if you're faithful to Yahweh, showing him love through doing his commandments, he's going to bless you unto 1,000 generations, meaning he's going to bless your children and your children's children and your children's children, right? If you follow these commandments. And remember, one of those commandments was to teach your kids the law, right? So they can teach their kids, and so on and so forth. And so the blessing would perpetuate. Okay, but then you have the curse on the other side. All right, and the payment to those who hate God by throwing his commandments behind their back, and disregarding his law. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments, and keep and do them, that the Lord thy God shall keep thee the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers. And he will love thee, and bless thee, and multiply thee. And he will also bless the fruit of thy womb, and the fruit of thy land, and thy corn, and thy wine, and thine oil, the increase of thy kine, and the flocks of thy sheep, in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you, or among your cattle. And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all that hate thee. Wow. Listen to that. This is the promise of Yahweh. He said, the Lord thy God, if you do these commandments, right? This is part of the covenant. If you do these commandments, he's going to take away from you all the sickness, right? And he's not going to put these curses that came upon Egypt, upon their land, all right, upon their people, upon their cattle. He's not going to put these curses upon you if you do the law, right? But he's going to put them on your enemies, those people which hate you. And that's the protection of Yahweh. That is the word of Yahweh. Praise be Yahweh. And thou shalt consume all the people which the Lord thy God shall deliver thee. Thine eye shall have no pity upon them. Neither shalt thou serve their gods, for that will be a snare unto thee. If thou say in thine heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispossess them? Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember what the Lord thy God did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt, the great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders, and the mighty hand and the stretched out arm, whereby the Lord thy God brought thee out. So shall the Lord thy God do unto all the people whom thou art afraid. Moreover, the Lord thy God will send the hornet among them, until they that are left, and hide themselves from thee, be destroyed. Thou shalt not be affrighted of them, for the Lord thy God is among you, a mighty God and terrible. And the Lord thy God will put out those nations before thee, by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. But the Lord thy God shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed. And he shall deliver their kings into thine hand, and thou shalt destroy their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee until thou hast destroyed them. The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the gold or silver that is on them, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein, for it is an abomination to the Lord thy God. Right? So even when they were commanded to destroy the temples of all these idols and these places of worship, these places of idolatry, even if they found something valuable in there, like gold or silver, they're not allowed to covet that and to take that for themselves, because even those sacrifices unto those idols are an abomination to Yahweh. And that shows you that Yahweh, his law is worth more than silver and gold. That's a literal interpretation of his word, or a literal evidence of his law being worth more than silver or gold. Because what are you going to do? You're going to disobey Yahweh's law for a piece of gold, a piece of silver? You can't spend that stuff when you're dead, and you do not, right? You do not want to be on Yahweh's bad side, because as he said in the 7:1 Deuteronomy, it says, for the Lord thy God is among you, a mighty God and terrible God. And you don't do those type of things because you fear Yahweh, and you show yourself honorable, right? When you keep his law, and you show yourself faithful by keeping his law. And you also show yourself faithful by having a healthy fear of Yahweh. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be cursed, a cursed thing like it. But thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing. Right? It's like the golden calf. What did Moses do when he found the Israelites? He came down the mountain, right, and he saw that the golden calf was being worshipped. Right? He ground it into powder, and he got rid of it. Right? He destroyed it. He didn't leave any of it left behind. He destroyed it. And that's, you could see here that is a commandment that he was following, because it's listed here. Okay, Deuteronomy 8. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. And this is it. This is all there is to it. God wants to know, are you going to follow his commandment? Yes or no? Are you going to follow the commandments of Yahweh? Because he's going to prove you to know what's in your heart, whether you keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live. Now, where have you heard that one before? Right? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded forth out of the mouth of God. Right? Who said that? Yahweh. Where does he get it from? He gets it from here. He gets it from the law. So understand that when you're hearing Yahweh speak, he's talking about the established law, Even he says that Yahweh gave him a commandment, right? And he only does what the Father commands him to do. Let me get that verse real quick. Let's see here. Let's see. Says, and I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak, therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. Right. And so here you have an example of that. Right. Which is this: man shall not, it says, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live. So this is where, so if we go back here and you see this, it says, wherefore even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. Right. But this is the Father speaking to Yahweh, right? Because this is a quote here from the law. Thy raiment waxed not old upon me. I'm sorry, thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that, as a man chasteneth his son, so the Lord thy God chasteneth thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways and to fear him. And the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of olive oil and honey, a land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack anything in it, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills mayest dig brass. Thou mayest dig brass. When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless the Lord thy God for the good land which he hath given thee. All right, so here's something interesting too. Deuteronomy 8 and 10. It says here that after we have eaten and that we have been satiated, our appetite has been satiated, right? After we've eaten, then you bless the Lord, right? For the good land which he hath given you, right? Meaning when they're in Israel and after they have eaten, then they bless the Lord, right? And you can kind of see that throughout the Bible as well. For example, when Isaac, after he had eaten what he thought was the venison that Jacob fed him, then he blessed him, right? So the blessing comes after the meal. But if you were raised in a Christian household, or just even notice Christian customs, then you'll understand that they pray before they eat. So little things like this kind of they're interesting for sure. All right, it says, beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, in not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes which I command you this day. Now he's saying, here's the warning. It says, hey, beware. Beware. Don't forget the commandments I'm teaching you today. Beware. Do not forget. Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses and dwelt therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, who led thee through the great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents, scorpions, and drought, where there was no water, and brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint, who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, to do thee good at thy latter end. And thou say in thine heart, my power and the might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth. But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee the power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget the Lord thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day, that ye shall utterly perish. As the nations which the Lord destroyeth before your face, so shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient to the voice of the Lord your God. Right. So if you do the commandments, you're going to thrive. And it says here, for it is God that giveth thee power to get wealth. Right. You're going to thrive. Or don't do the commandments. You're going to perish. Choose life or choose death. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. Deuteronomy 9. Hear, O Israel, thou art to pass over Jordan this day, to go in to possess nations greater and mightier than thyself, cities great and fenced up to heaven, a people great and tall, the children of the Anakims, whom thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard say, who can stand before the children of Anak? Understand therefore this day that the Lord thy God is he which goeth over before thee. As a consuming fire he shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as the Lord hath said unto thee. Speak not thou in thine heart, after that the Lord thine God hath cast them out from before thee, saying, for my righteousness the Lord hath brought me in to possess this land. But for the wickedness of these nations, the Lord doth drive them out from before thee. Okay, so he's telling you right here, Deuteronomy 9:4, that he's driving these people out for their wickedness, for these Canaanites. He's saying these guys got to go. Why? Because they're being punished for this wickedness and all this evil that they've been doing, this worshiping of idols and sacrificing their children to please their idols, in their minds, practicing abomination from before the Lord, that the Lord just had to wipe them out, to kick them off the land and to replace them. Not because the Israelites were so good or that the Israelites were, the best at anything or anything that the Israelites did, but it was because of all the misdeeds and all the evil of the people who existed there before. Did he get rid of them? Not for thy righteousness, or for the uprightness of thine heart dost thou go into possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee, and that he may perform the word which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Understand therefore that the Lord thy God giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people. Remember and forget not how thou provokest the Lord thy God to wrath in the wilderness, from the day that thou didst depart out of the land of Egypt, until ye came unto this place. Ye have been rebellious against the Lord. Also in Horeb ye provoked the Lord to wrath, so that the Lord was angry with you to have destroyed you. When I was gone up into the mount to receive the tablets of stone, even the tablets of the covenant which the Lord made with you, then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink water. And the Lord delivered unto me 2 tablets of stone, written with the finger of God. And on them was written according to all the words which the Lord spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days and 40 nights that the Lord gave me the 2 tablets of stone, even the tablets of the covenant. Okay, so he's saying here, says that he had written these 2 tablets of stone was written by God on the stone, and these were the covenants. This was the covenant of God. This was his covenant written in stone. Right? And then we see this also, things like, the Los Lunas Decalogue stone. It's the same thing, right? Not written with the finger of God, but yet it's almost like a memorial for what had happened. The covenant being written upon a stone, 2 tablets of stone, and remembered through writing the covenant on a different stone tablet, commemorating the event, if you would. Okay, let's see here. And the Lord said unto me, Arise, get thee down quickly from hence, for my people which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten image. Furthermore, the Lord spake unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Let me alone that I may destroy them, and blot out their name from under heaven, and I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mount, and the mount burned with fire, and the two tables of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I looked, and I behold, ye had sinned against the Lord your God, and had made you a molten calf. Ye had turned aside quickly out of the way which the Lord had commanded you. And I took the 2 tables, and cast them out of my 2 hands, and brake them before your eyes. And I fell down before the Lord, as at the first, 40 days and 40 nights. I did neither eat bread nor drink water, because all your sins which ye sinned, in doing wickedly in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. For I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure wherewith the Lord was wroth against you to destroy you. But the Lord hearkened unto me at that time also. And the Lord was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him. And I prayed for Aaron also the same time. And I took your sin, the calf which ye have made, and burnt it with fire, and stamped it, and ground it very small, even until it was as small as the dust, and I cast the dust thereof into the brook that descended out of the mount. And at Taberah, and at Massa, and at Kibroth Havatava, ye provoked the Lord to wrath. Likewise, when the Lord sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, Go up and possess the land which I had given you, then ye rebelled against the commandment of the Lord your God, and ye believed him not, nor hearkened to his voice. Ye have been rebellious against the Lord from the day that I knew you. Thus I fell down before the Lord 40 days and 40 nights, as I fell down at the first, because the Lord hath said he would destroy you. I prayed therefore unto the Lord, and said, O Lord God, destroy not thy people and thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed through thy greatness, which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember thy servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Look not unto the stubbornness of this people, nor to their wickedness, nor to their sin, lest the land whence thou brought us out say, because the Lord was not able to bring them into the land which he promised them, and because he hated them, he hath brought them out to slay them in the wilderness. Yet they are thy people and thine inheritance, which thou broughtest out by a mighty power and by thy stretched out arm. Deuteronomy 10. At that time the Lord said unto me, Hew these 2 tables of stone, like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. And I will write on these tables the words that were written in the first tables, which thou breakest, and thou shalt put them in the ark. And I made an ark of shittim wood, and hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and went up into the mount, having the 2 tables in mine hand. And he wrote on the tables, according to the first writing, the 10 commandments, which the Lord spake unto you in the mount in the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly, and the Lord gave them unto me. So it says here, it tells you what's written on the 2 tables of the commandments, right? Which was his covenant that he had established, right? It says, and he wrote on the tables according to the first writing the 10 commandments, which the Lord had spake unto you in the mount of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And the Lord gave them unto me. It's the 10 commandments. Excuse me. And I turned myself and came down from the mount and put the tables in the ark which I had made, and there be as the Lord commanded. And the children of Israel took their journey from Beeroth of the children of Jachin to Masrah. There Aaron died, and there he was buried. And Eleazar his son ministered in the priest's office in his stead. Or Eleazar. And Eleazar his son ministered in the priest's office in his stead. From thence they journeyed into Gudgoda, and from Gudgoda to Jotbeth, a land of rivers and waters. At that time the Lord separated the tribe of Levi. At that time the Lord separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to stand before the Lord, to minister unto him, and to bless in his name unto this day. Wherefore Levi hath no part nor inheritance with his brethren. The Lord is his inheritance, according to the Lord thy God promised him, according as the Lord thy God promised him. And I stayed in the mount according to the first time 40 days and 40 nights, and the Lord hearkened unto me at that time also, and the Lord would not destroy thee. And the Lord said unto me, Arise, take thy journey before the people, that they may go in and possess the land which I sware unto their fathers to give unto them. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thine heart, with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of God, to keep the commandments of the Lord, Yahweh, and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is the Lord's thy God, is Yahweh's. The earth also, with all that therein is. Only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people as it is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For the Lord your God is God of gods, and Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward. So he's telling you here that we got to keep his commandments, right? Because that's the one thing that when you enter into this covenant with God, we're in this covenant whether you want to enter into it or not. It's only when you realize that, you'll understand that you need to follow these commandments, and you have a drive or an internal desire to follow Yahweh. And so you want to know, okay, what do I need to do to get closer to Yahweh? He's telling you. He requires something of you. You need to do something. Well, what is that? It says, now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and thy soul, and to keep the commandments of God. and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. And that's why we're going over the law. And that's why I'm choosing to read specifically out of the book of Deuteronomy. I mean, it's not the only book of the law, but I feel like it's a good summary of the law. It has a lot of the laws in there, but it's not the only book of the law. But I feel it's a good place to start. But that's the reason why I'm reading this particular book, because of the good amount of laws in there, and also to show you that if you want to get close to Yahweh, to the one true God, the creator of heaven and earth, he requires something of you, and that is to keep the commandments. Okay. So he says, he doth execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loveth the stranger, in giving him food and raiment, clothing. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave, and swear by his name. He is thy praise, and he is thy God, that hath done for thee these great and terrible things which thine eyes have seen. Thy fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons, and now the Lord thy God hath made thee as the stars of heaven for a multitude. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop there. I may get back a little later on today to read a little bit more, but for now we'll stop here. And let's see. I just want to read Psalm 29:2. It says, give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. All right, so until the continuation, be blessed. In the name of Yahweh.